Club, I think Tim kind of touched on it. You remember how I love to give these talks and speeches. I was hoping this honor, if it ever did come, I might be long gone. But they nearly came in June of 2012, 6 hours north of Edmonton, Alberta. A professional truck driver driving a Chevy Malibu made the motorcyclist deadly left turn right into my path while I was cruising 60 miles an hour on the way to Alaska. But after 5 major surgeries, my only claim to retribution, other than the $500,000 lawsuit, was that the Canadian truck driver did flinch when I came up over the handlebars and headbutted his windshield. However, that momentum did throw me back into his path, and he ran over me. And I can assure you, there's no greater fear to be trapped under a vehicle, smelling your leather jacket smoldering, and wondering where that extra 5 gallons of gas may have landed. But it was quite a ride. And speaking of rides, I felt we had quite a ride here during our tenure at NIACC. It was a total team effort. We had great coaches. My claim to fame back home is that the NIACC football coaching staff was the 5th active winningest coaching staff in the history of the NJCAA when we left in April 2003. We had coaches that could not only teach and coach, but more importantly, they would recruit. Our coaches would pound the phone. We had top-notch players. A number of the kids are here today, and I appreciate you guys showing up. We had NFL guys, All-Americans, D1, D2, NIACC guys, D3 guys, kids that went on and just went to work, which is great. I do remember Mel Heaps and his Hail Mary touchdown at Mohawk Stadium against North Dakota State. John Richmond, the North Dakota head coach, hated Mohawk Stadium. It was Murphy's Law with North Dakota at Mohawk. We had game-winning goal line stands. We had Hail Marys, you name it. John was very smart and went on to be the president of their college. Even I got to admit, having the head football coach, your head football coach be the president of your college, is kind of scary. But that Hail Mary afternoon in Mohawk had North Dakota with the ball on our own 20-yard line. We had no timeouts left. We could not stop the clock. We were beat. All North Dakota had to do was punch the ball in for a short first down or a short touchdown. But they tried to mathematically run the clock out, and quarterback cadence changes, and an offensive lineman jumps offside, and we score on a Hail Mary opportunity. I remember one of NIACC's many outstanding running backs, Tank Corner. Tank slept through his recruiting visit. I think it was post-prom, or maybe I was just boring. But I just about told him not to come back in the fall, and that would have been a huge mistake. Tank ended up being an outstanding person, outstanding player, but he was probably an All-American, I would guess, too. He later went on to UNI, and everybody loved him down there as well. One of my least favorite moments was when Mrs. Tetzel nearly assaulted me on the 50-yard line at Mohawk Stadium after a victory over Ellsworth that put us into a postseason bowl game. There was a lot of hard feelings during the game, and it looked like it might get a little bit heated after the game. We made our players depart without the ceremonial handshake. Our coaches would handle that. After I shook the Ellsworth coaches and players' hands, I turned around and Mrs. Tetzel was in my face with one of these. She says, "Coach, I can't tell you how disappointed I am. I've taught my kids better than this. I've taught my kids to never walk away from a fight." Well, I told her if we'd have been in a post-game scuffle, Coach Dunbar and our administration would have never let us go to a bowl game. She later apologized after the bowl game, and I thought maybe Mom and the twins had learned their lesson. The Tetzel twins went on to Western Illinois the next year. Western Illinois had a great season, qualified for the national championship playoffs, and then were put on probation for a post-game Donnybrook. We had an outstanding athletic director and athletic secretary. Today, 10 years later, whenever my computer or printer does not work, I still yell, "Jody." I remember the time I came in after early morning 2-day practice. Jody had tears in her eyes, and I looked over into Coach Dunbar's office, and he has fire in his eyes. And I thought, good God. I'd sent a prima donna Florida player to the office to fill out pre-camp paperwork. Well, the athlete got loud, and he thought he was above doing the paperwork. On the way to the bus station, the ex-player had the audacity to say, "Coach, I could have won a lot of games for NIACC." I said, "What do you mean? You're winning games for us right now." He said, "What?" I said, "When 120 football players see me taking a bona fide Division I player, a player that might play on Sunday afternoons, to the bus station. They know we mean business. And all we expect, and I ever expected, was that our athletes work hard, be on time, and be good citizens. Our financial aid department was invaluable. To get 100 freshmen a year, you needed to sift through 1,000 FAFSAs and student aid reports. Our average football scholarship was only $200. So unless a kid was in the immediate area, it got a little bit difficult to recruit, and especially when Iowa Central was offering 5 times more. We had superior counselors and teachers. When we got a recruit on campus, the counselors, along with the teachers and the facilities, would sell our recruits. We also had an excellent food service. The number one thing I miss most tonight is Rod, Sue, and Irma's, the staff's 3 buffets a day. And finally, I felt we had unrivaled coaching relationships with other sports on campus. I always enjoyed Herb, Ortel, Mason stalking the sidelines during basketball games and winning 20 games a season, with Dan winning a national championship. Everyone asked me my thoughts on NIACC dropping football. You know, I was not here. I don't know what happened. I do know what has happened to a lot of other junior college football programs. It's like a nuclear arms race to the top. If you end up with the wrong kids, for whatever reason, it becomes a nuclear arms race to the bottom and your program is gone. In the winter months, when it gets dark early, I enjoy babysitting my wood stove, reading Louis L'Amour. Louis often talks about the cowboy trails, and it's the same way with motorcycling, but he claims it's the journey. It's the journey, not the destination's end that matter. Let's just remember the positive. NIACC football had a wonderful journey. Not so happy with the ending, but it was a wonderful journey. In closing, I would like to just remind everyone of that one famous coach's speech. I think it went something like this. Old coaches never die, they just fade away. And like that old coach of that ballad, I'd better stop there. General MacArthur might be waiting at the pearly gates to jab slap me. But if you're ever in southeast Nebraska, please stop in. If you'd like to go on a little journey, it's Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue in Fayetteville, Arkansas, starting this Wednesday. Northwest Arkansas is beautiful this time of year. Thank you.